All right, guys, what's up? We're gonna do another Q&A. It's me again, Captain Morgan. I have my friend here, Joy at Joyful Wellness. She has her own business. You guys can check that out after the video. She's amazing. She has her own self-help, all that stuff going on here.
Thank you.
So we're gonna get this started. We're gonna talk about a topic that everyone has been thinking this past year, 2020. It's been crazy for everyone.
Clearly.
So my question was to you guys, what did you learn in 2020, or how has 2020 changed you? I posted on my Instagram story, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to say your questions out loud, and then me and Joy will answer them and respond to your questions, opinions, experiences, and we'll take it from there. It's going to be a fun time. Okay, so what is one thing you learned in 2020? Should we ask them first, or should we ask you first? I'll ask you.
Okay.
What did you learn in 2020?
What did I learn in 2020? In the beginning of 2020, I realized how much, and even till this day, I'm still a workaholic.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing and a bad thing, because at the end of the day, I want to get things done and I want to achieve my goals and I want to be successful in every avenue. But sometimes being a workaholic isn't always a good thing, because you kind of delay, emotional parts of you that kind of need to grow, and you can stunt your own growth in that way. Like, I used to be so headstrong of, I gotta get this done, I gotta make sure I'm here, I gotta make sure I'm there, and it's like, when was I like, and it's funny, I'm a life coach, so it's like, when am I giving time for me to like do self-care? When am I giving myself time to like just really sit in my thoughts and think about things that I need to heal from and stuff like that? So I'll like talk about it in like spaces when it comes to my mental health, put in the work. I had to learn how to do that through the quarantine, and that wasn't a very easy process. It was actually, I wouldn't say traumatizing, but it was just like, oh, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done, and I'm still doing that to this day. So like, now the world's a little bit opening up, I still like, I'm getting back in that mood of being a workaholic, but it's like, I need to like stop.
That's sometimes. Good. Like, you're finding the balance between like your own attention, like your own needs, as well as the things you have to get done regarding like work.
Yeah.
Because being a workaholic, like you're a tank. Like, like, that's awesome. You just be going. The fact you have your own business and you're still going.
And
like,
then I work at a full time at school. Yeah. And then I do Forex trading.
That's
and
amazing.
Community outreach. Like, yeah, there's a lot that I do.
The amount of discipline that you have that's to be admired. But I think it's like, for your own mental health and your own stress level, it's good to find that balance, because you're a person. You have emotional needs, stress levels, all these other things that you have to pay attention to keep going. Otherwise, you're going to burn out,
Yeah,
it's important.
And I've been realizing like a lot of it, like throughout the quarantine, like some of my stress levels I do see in like my acne, and it's just like, I try and take time to be like, okay, I need to reduce my stress level so like my acne doesn't keep flaring up, but it's just like, it's still happening. So it's just like finding that balance, and even like making sure that I'm feeding myself the proper nutrients, and also like getting the correct amount of sleep. Like, it's a big balance that like a lot of people I think are realizing in 2020. So that's something that I continuously keep learning. I teach my clients about learning it, and like I tell people, like, I specialize in the idea of being a growth coach, because like we grow together, and you're growing, I'm growing, and that's all we're going to continue to keep doing.
Growing is a lifelong process. You learn and grow every day.
Correct.
That is what it is.
And what did you learn?
Oh, me? Oh, man. It's been an emotional journey since 2020. Not even just 2020, like the transition from 2019 to 2020, because I just left college, and things have just been changing for me. But I think the biggest thing for me was that for the first time in life, I actually like finally set boundaries for myself, and I can't like take on other people's problems, because I'm very good at just relating to people. Like, I'm very open, I can understand people, I'm good at talking to people. But at the same time, it was starting to weigh on me, because the more like I get involved in people's lives, I try to help people, they tell me like the things that go on, and like, again, the more they tell me, the more I get involved with that person. But after a while, it's like it became a stressor for me, because it became overwhelming when everyone is putting problems on you at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was like angry all the time. I couldn't really figure out why. 'Cause I learned I'm naturally kind of just like, I can get really upset.
Yeah.
But it's just from me being sensitive, and I learned that's why I'm able to relate to. It's like a matter of sensitivity. But that's something I learned recently. I learned it from books, like sensitivity. I pick up on emotions, therefore I'm able to relate. Which was a good and bad thing, because I can relate and talk people through problems. But the more I do that, I'm also taking in all of their emotions as well.
Yeah, and it's the energy that they
have. It's the energy, but since I was doing that all the time for, years, eventually I was just like fed up. I was like, nah, enough is enough. Like, I will help you, but at the same time, I can only go so far without hurting myself, because it's not maintainable for me, So, yeah, setting boundaries and learning what I will and will not do for people or say to people, or, I can't put all my energy out all the time.
Yeah.
Because I'm not getting anything back, and that was better for me, because then now I had more energy to use for like other aspects of my life, because I also have a full-time job. I'm also I do videos on Instagram, starting a podcast. It was overwhelming. I had too many things to do. And for me to function, I had to learn how to manage my own emotions so I can manage my energy, so that I can plan out what I want to do and how I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like I learned how to manage myself and others better. So I learned a lot about just people, myself, and management, and setting boundaries. Because there needs to be balance in like almost every aspect of life. And that's what I learned so far.
Okay.
And learn every day. Whew.
There's a lot.
I'm glad I got that. I was trying to see if I can condense this in a couple of sentences. Because I had a lot of thoughts. It was like, trying to get to my mouth. And I was like, let's organize this before I say it.
Well,
let's get to everyone else.
Yes.
Okay. So my first friend here, we have Tot. Tot says, one thing she learned in 2020 is, everything happens for a reason, and I'm right where I'm supposed to be right now. I like that. I relate to that. That's something I also learned recently too. Yeah.
I think I learned that last year. Everything happened. No. I would say, actually last year I learned everything happened for a reason. Mm-hmm. And so, a lot of things just happened, in divine favor starting last year. And I'm just all this is happening for a reason. I have no idea. I started my business last year. I graduated college last year. I started a job opportunity last year. Everything was happening. And I had I'm talking about the positives, but there were a lot of failures that I had as well. And all those failures, I'm everything is happening for a reason, because I don't know if it's trying to make me mentally stronger or emotionally stronger, but it's happening. And even things that happened this year, I've had some negative things. I went on job interviews, didn't get the job. Mm-hmm. I lost a relationship, and it was turmoil. I let go of toxic people in my life that were friends, that were family. I lost somebody in my family as well. So it's everything happened for a reason. And I'm just the more you sit back and you really think about it, you're I don't know if it's gonna I'm gonna know the reason now, next month, next year, maybe 5 years from now, but it happened. And all you can take it and say is it happened, and what did you really learn from that experience? What did you ultimately gain? Yeah. Knowledge. Yeah. Was it something physical? Was it something, sustainable that can carry you out or somebody else in your life to the next phase that they need to go into? So.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That's something I also learned. I used to get frustrated. Why is this happening right now? Why is there so many things going wrong at this moment?
It doesn't make sense.
And then I realized, I do also believe it's just divine favors, just because things line up. Bad things happen, but if this thing didn't happen, then this other thing that ended up being a blessing wouldn't have happened either.
Yeah.
And things line up in a weird way. But then there's different aspects of everything happens for a reason, because it's, and the one thing I learned for the past year and a half was nothing is coincidence. Even if it was a bad thing, that bad thing didn't happen without reason, because something caused that thing.
Yeah.
Everything is caused by something. And that's why I have this theory that nothing is a coincidence. Okay, this relationship ended, but then it's okay, this relationship ended for a reason. Whether or not at that time or in the moment you didn't see the reason, when you look back, these things were leading up to this. That was the reason for it. And that relationship ending is going to be cause for another change in your life, whether that be good or bad. Every action has a cause, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I learned. So everything does happen for a reason. So, yeah. Being more responsible and compassionate is something she learned in 2020.
Okay.
Being responsible and compassionate. I'm trying to be less responsible and compassionate nowadays. I'm too responsible nowadays.
I know that's.
I wish I had less responsibilities now. I mean, it's the same thing. I have like so much more responsibilities now than I did in my whole life.
I think I want to go back to when we were in high school.
Yeah, I'm not trying to take care of anything.
Like, I miss where all I had to do was wake up, get good grades.
Get good grades, go to track
practice.
I go home, that's
go
it.
home, go to sleep, just make sure I had to walk my dog.
Yeah.
Like, I miss those days.
But now every decision I make has tremendous weight and can affect my life as well as everyone else's.
Or the fact that, like, I have student loans, and if I don't pay them back, the IRS will come back and garnish my paycheck.
We have major decisions we have to make and responsibilities. We got to make sure I pay stuff all the time, or else I'll be in debt forever.
Or you won't have anything. Like, you have to make sure your car insurance is paid, or else you can't drive your car. Or, like, you know, like, you're trying to move out, so you have to make sure you have money in your savings to, you know, move out and pay your credit card bill. So it's like, oh,
being an adult sucks. Learned how to love people better. Okay, that's nice. I like that. That's sweet.
Yeah.
It's sweet. It's cute. It's loving.
It's short and simple.
Yeah, short and simple.
I'm trying to think.
I was like, should I just start?
Yeah, like, I'm trying to think. I've always been a loving and compassionate person. So it's like, for me, saying that that's what 2020 has taught me, it hasn't. But I think it's taught me, in regards to that, like, a little bit of forgiveness.
Yeah.
For, like, learning to love individuals that I was angry about, with for years better. And, like, learning to love people even if they don't deserve to be in your life anymore.
I like that. For me, it was almost more the opposite. Because I was always very compassionate. It's just, I was naturally just very, you know, I spoke about that earlier. I'm very compassionate.
Yeah.
But for me, it was just, like, being compassionate for others, but at the same time, also showing myself compassion. Because I would stress myself out and then get really angry. But then now it's like, when I get like that, I can step out. I'm like, all right, Brandon, we get it. We're going through it. We're doing a lot right now. You're stressed. And then I can coach myself to calm down. And I was like, okay, this is too much for you at this moment. Maybe you should probably communicate to this person that this is overwhelming. So now it just helped with my overall communicating, me realizing that, like, there's certain things I can't take on everything at once, and it's also not my job to. So then I balance, like, compassion between others and compassion with myself. You know? So, yeah, that's what I learned. 2020. Great lessons. Horrible time. Okay,
You want to do one more? Because we're almost going to be at 30.
I know.
It doesn't even feel like 30 minutes. Wow.
The last two were really short, though.
Okay.
One says, no matter what's going on in the world, be positive. Inner peace is everything. And you're right about that.
Yeah.
The goal is to always be positive. Even though that's not natural, you're not always be positive because your mood's going to change.
Because there's actually a negative there's actually a scientific thing about, like, trying to be positive all the time. That's actually can be very toxic. But learning how to have that actual balance between being positive and taking the negative things.
We're accepting the negative. And then, but the goal is you're trying to, the goal is to keep trying. Like, don't get taken back by all the negativity, but the goal is to always keep moving forward. That's how I view positivity. Positive is you trying to make things better because the situation is not always going to be good. That's life.
Yeah. But okay.
Yeah, all right. And let's see what the last question here is. This person said she learned a lot about self-discipline. Yeah.
I just did a workshop on that with individuals. So, like, a lot, and I'll try and keep this short and sweet, I promise. So, a lot of
3 minutes.
So, like, I ask a lot of people all the time, how do you define your discipline? Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, a lot of people are like, oh, I define it as a 7 or an 8. And I'm like, okay. Now, if I start asking you questions, do you think you're still going to define yourself as a 7 or 8? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so how are your sleeping habits? Do they align with your goals? Do your habits align with your goals? Do your routines align with your goals? If I had you do a 21-day habits challenge, would you be able to complete it? And then would you make that into a routine? Then would you make that into a lifestyle? Then would that be something you would do continuously for the rest of your life? Are you willing to take out the negative habits that are actually holding you back from achieving your goals to get to the true success that you want? And when I start thinking, when I start, like, having people do these, like, they're like, oh, I'm actually not that disciplined as I think.
That was a lot
I'm
just hearing
like,
about the question that you said you were asking other people.
I'm like,
yeah.
look, man, like sometimes you gotta really ask these hard questions to yourself, and when you start asking these hard questions to like,
Oh, it's good. I like to hear that.
I'm not as there as I think I am.
Yeah, but that's an important question to ask. You know. But for me, in regard to self-discipline, I was always relatively disciplined, but from where I am now to where I want to be, I'm going to need more. But now I just ask myself, like, is everything I'm doing in my life right now have purpose? Because if what I'm doing doesn't have purpose, then it's essentially a waste of time.
Correct.
And that's kind of how I function more now. And I learned that just throughout trial and error. Certain things I'm stressed out about, I'm like, wait, this thing does not matter. This is more of a petty thing that we don't have to deal with. And it ultimately does not have purpose for me or anyone around me. So I don't waste my time on things that don't necessarily have purpose, whether it be like certain relationships, certain dramas, like activities. If it doesn't have purpose, it doesn't really need to be happening.
And the purpose needs to be, in a sense, for your benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Or even if it is for the benefit of others, at least a portion of it being the benefit of others still has to have a benefit for you as well.
Yeah.
So that's very important.
All right, just under 30 minutes. I think we wrapped it up.
Yes.
That was actually an awesome conversation. Like, that was dope. That was good. I hope good stuff came from that.
I love having conversations with people.
It's my favorite thing to do, seriously.
I know.
It's my favorite thing to do.
This is why I like doing Instagram lives.
Yeah.
But they're sometimes a little draining when you're on there for like an hour.
Because conversation does take energy. But
but it's very, very...
I always learn something from a good conversation. That's why I like to do it. That's why I like to talk to different people, meet new people, like just hear different perspectives. You can learn something from everyone. You know what I'm saying?
So I want to thank you for inviting me over and doing this.
Thanks for coming.
Of course.
Thanks for showing up. It means a lot. So all right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna be doing these a lot more often. Q&As. I'm probably most likely always gonna have a little guest with me. It makes things a lot more interesting. So I'll catch you guys later.
Bye.
Later.